Tom and Jack from Cultaholic. There's no easy way to break this news, Jack, but there's no Legend of Zelda stream today.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, I'm doing some other recording for the channel. Consequently, my schedule's all over the place. Sadly, I won't be able to visit Hyrule today. So I don't know what you're going to do with your day instead, because I know you normally like to pop by.
I love it. What you've done is you've left an innocent young boy stuck in the belly of a fish for an extra week.
Oh, yes!
He's there. He's just there.
Oh, he'll be fine. Bless dickhead.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic later on, though. Jack is back with Owen, guiding the career of Cultaholic FC on Football Manager. How's all that going?
It's going well. We're still top of the league, just waiting for it all to come crashing down. But at the minute, it's actually going quite well.
Oh, nice. Fingers crossed that it doesn't come crashing down and or hurt inside.
Yes.
Until then, here is your wrestling news. A top star has been pulled from tonight's AEW Dynamite. An NXT title has been vacated. And we've got the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame coming up. I have loved the work of this particular guy since returning to Dynamite, but as a result of an injury sustained back at Revolution, won't be seeing him tonight. Who are we talking about, Jack?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're talking about Pac, Newcastle's own Pac. This is according to a tweet from Tony Khan, who said, with Pac recovering from from injuring his ankle at Revolution, he is not yet cleared for the tag title shot with Rey Fenix against the Young Bucks. So, instead, Death Triangle are bringing back the Lucha Bros' original trios partner, Laredo Kid, to get the edge ahead of the title match. So the title match has been postponed, but in good news, yeah, we're getting to see Laredo Kid back. So swings and roundabouts, you know what I mean?
Well, I was thinking that by now, like, Pac would be back in a position where, like, that wheel is going again. But do we think this is quite a bad injury for Pac? Is this something that's just taking a tiny bit longer than we expected? What do we think?
I really don't know, but I think it was Lewis, who works here at Cultaholic, who suggested that hopefully it's not the injury, the ankle that he injured a while ago on Raw against AJ Styles when he did like a slide on the mat, and hopefully it's not like a recurring one, or hopefully he's not re-aggravated something from his past. And
when it comes to Laredo Kid, like, for people who may not be familiar with his work, what can we expect?
I mean, he's a luchador and he's a very, very good one. So, high energy, exciting offense. I mean, I'm sure if you've never seen him before, you'll probably come away a fan if he's given a chance to show what he can do.
Absolutely. So look forward to that one, and we send our best to Geordie Boy Pac on the recovery. He's not the only Brit that's down this week. So we talked last week, I think it was, here on the news, that Danny Burch was in a bad way following a double suplex from Karrion Kross. There was some concerns that his injury might be a bad one. There was some hope that it might be something he could work through. We have on good authority now from the authority, William Regal, that it's not going to be the case, as Danny Burch has indeed suffered a separated shoulder during the match last week. He is was one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions. William Regal putting out a tweet saying, I can confirm this incredibly unfortunate news of the injury. He made the difficult decision to vacate the NXT Tag Team titles. Furthermore, I will address the state of the titles tomorrow night, i.e. tonight, on NXT. I'm gutted for Danny Burch, Jack. I'm gutted.
Yeah, me too. I really like them as a tag team, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Hopefully it's not too bad an injury and he's all right soon. But I am interested to see how Regal addresses this and what the solution is for the NXT tag titles, especially so close to, the big WrestleMania week, the big takeover, the big 2-night takeover. Maybe that's when we could find out who the new champions are. Do you think he'll delay it until then?
I think he might announce something where at TakeOver we crown new champions. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Maybe a mini tournament. But mind you, we've just had like a lot of tag tournaments on NXT, and there's not a massive amount of time between now and TakeOver nights 1 and 2. So I would assume he would set something in place. I think he would probably, because MSK are due a tag title shot. since they were the winners of the Dusty Cup. So maybe put MSK in there with another former tag team. I think maybe... here we go. I'm just booking off the top of my head here. So we have MSK in there. They're a lock-in for TakeOver. You have a Battle Royal or a Gauntlet of some variety to determine who faces them. In terms of who could face them, I mean, your options... let's see. You've got Imperium. You've got the two Imperium lads in there.
They're kind of tied up with Ciampa, but actually he's after Walter, really, isn't he? So yeah, it could be Imperium.
Drake Maverick and Killian Dane could potentially be amongst them lot as well. But the obvious team, the absolute obvious team, would be the Grizzled Young Veterans, who have had a little rivalry with MSK coming off of the Dusty Cup. So you could easily argue the case that at TakeOver we should have MSK GYV for the NXT TTT. That would be a way to go. Thank you for hurt me head doing that. Looking ahead to tonight's NXT, Karrion Kross facing one half of the now former tag team champions Oney Lorcan one-on-one. We'll see Jordan Devlin in action against Kushida in a non-title match. And also tonight, NXT UK champion Volta is in the house, and he is facing fellow Brit Drake Maverick. I think these two have some fun. Yes!
Come on!
Yes!
You can do it! Slam him like Andre. Do it.
Oh! Would you imagine if they gave Drake the push like that? It'd be stunning. Absolutely
it would be, but
stunning.
I'm holding out hope, I suppose.
We'll talk about NXT tomorrow on Graded, you and I will. Looking ahead to WrestleMania, Night 1 and Night 2, somebody who was meant to be a part of the show, looks like they're out of the picture. Who are we talking about, Jack?
Yeah, Charlotte Flair, unfortunately. Well, we know already because they announced, they confirmed it on Raw, that she unfortunately had tested positive for COVID. Hopefully she recovers very well and very quickly. But I don't know if it's just a case of maybe the wording of this tweet or if it is legit. But Ric Flair appears to have indicated that Charlotte might be missing WrestleMania. He responded to Charlotte's announcement on Twitter with the tweet saying, "Praying for a speedy recovery. You've set the bar so high. WrestleMania will not be the same without the Queen." So I don't know if that's just Rick kind of assuming that she's going to miss WrestleMania or whether that's actually true and he's just, put it out there.
Why does Ric Flair tweet with all capitals at the start of each word? That's an interesting one.
He's just after the engagement. He's really invested in SEO, I think.
That's it. That's exactly the answer. Yeah, the wording is questionable. I think at this point there is some doubts over whether Charlotte will make it to WrestleMania. I think putting Rhea Ripley in that match against Asuka is a great way of doing things. So what you've got there is a great match that you've advertised. I think they'll rock the house. Yeah. I really do. Yeah. But then you have a storyline purpose for Charlotte, should she be available, to be involved in the match. And I can hear the groans already, but there is legitimate reason to have Charlotte in amongst there. Think about this, right? Charlotte and Asuka and Rhea Ripley, triple threat style at WrestleMania. If that's where we go, pie in the sky optimistic booking type thing here, you could have Ripley beat Charlotte, getting the win back, brother, at WrestleMania, becoming the Raw Women's Champion, and doing it in a way where Asuka can go, hang on, you didn't beat me. Let's do this again. Potentially we do that. I don't know whether that's just me being very optimistic, Jack, that would be how Charlotte would roll at WrestleMania.
I would, in an ideal world, I think I'd like it to stay as it was. Although I agree that would be a great triple threat match if it went that way. But I would like to see Asuka and Rhea Ripley one-on-one. And then in an ideal world, Charlotte would have some kind of unique opponent, maybe a bit of a legend or something like that. Because I just don't think she always needs to be, around the title. But, I mean, nothing against her at all, obviously. And hopefully she gets well very soon.
Stand by. In 3 minutes' time, we will tell you who is being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. But before that, an absentee from this year's special. We heard some rumblings that we were going to be not seeing Dave Bautista as part of the Hall of Fame ceremony. It was announced last year he was going to be inducted. Then the world caught fire, and the plan is to induct 2 classes this year. Dave Bautista put out a tweet yesterday saying, "To the WWE Universe, unfortunately, due to previous obligations, I'm unable to be a part of the WWE Hall of Fame this year. By my request, they have agreed to induct me at a future ceremony where I'll be able to properly thank the fans and the people who made my career possible. Hashtag Dream Chaser." No Dave at the Hall of Fame, Jack.
No, that's very sad, but at the same time, I totally understand it. And when he says, previous obligations, maybe he's shooting some sort of film role and he just can't risk, he's got to try and really minimize the risk of catching COVID, I suppose. But it is a shame. It is a shame. At least we know he's going in the future.
Exactly. I feel as if as well that it was someone like Batista. Like there's a great story to tell with the career of Batista, that you could make him more of a featured guy in the Hall of Fame. But this year, with 2 Hall of Fame classes going in at the same time, I think, and in those classes, you've already got like the NWO and Eric Bischoff and the new name, which we'll mention in a second. There is a fear that a Dave Batista might get lost in the shuffle of 2 full fat classes at the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it might be, in a weird way, it might be for the best, I suppose.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing Dave Batista in the Hall of Fame next year, hopefully. But we do know who is joining the Hall of Fame this year. I think announced a day earlier than what WWE was hoping for. We know who's going into the 2021 class. Who is it, Jack?
It's one of a kind, Tom. It's Rob Van Dam, who did reveal it during an interview with the NWC show on YouTube. But, we assumed that it was going to be announced anyway. Kane is on the bump today, I believe. And, you've got to wonder whether perhaps that will be when they've filmed the whole breaking of the news to RVD. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. It's Rob Van Dam.
Exactly. I worded some of the writing in this story badly, and I apologize, Jack, because the story with the way that it came out is very must be frustrating for the head office, because on the NWC show, bless him, he was interviewing Sabu. And they were having a lovely chat, and it was Sabu who just dropped into conversation. Oh yeah, they're inducting Rob Van Dam into the Hall of Fame. And what? Eh? And as you rightly said there, like, Kane is on the bump today. They've been doing this thing on the bump where they've been getting somebody on who is connected to the Hall of Fame inductee. They're going, oh, actually, got a little surprise. You're in the Hall of Fame, and they get all totes emotion, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they can't do that now because it's obvious that Rob knows.
Well, I mean, they could. Maybe are these things pre-recorded? Because perhaps it's already. Been done.
The way that I've seen, with the greatest respect, like the Molly Holly one they did with Gregory Helms, there were so many long, awkward pauses that I think it had to be live. I think it had to be live, and that's not a dig on any of them. It's just there was, I think with any time you're doing stuff over Zoom, we do quite well to avoid that here. But on the whole, but there is that. So I get the vibe that it is live, and I would imagine that they might have to change their wording somewhat, since it's kind of out there in the world today that he's going in. But we'll see. I love the fact that he's going in. I think that when you go back to what was a nightmarish time during the invasion angle of WCW, I think Rob Van Dam was one of the stars that was made out of a very small amount of stars that they made during that 2001 run.
Yeah, I would agree as well. And I think that if we also take into account, obviously, his ECW career, then he's a real pioneer, isn't he? He kind of wrestled in a way that nobody really had before. And I've got no issues with him going in. Yeah, really, really excited for him.
Not an issue at all. So Hall of Fame welcomes Rob Van Dam to the class of 2021. Back with more wrestling-flavoured news later. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.